Continuing now with our coverage from Media Row at CPAC in Washington, D.C., and our guest is, well, frankly, a hero of mine, Chaya Raichik. You know her better as the proprietor of the Libs of TikTok Twitter account, which basically exposed exactly what liberals on TikTok were saying, and it was pretty awful stuff. It was pretty scary stuff about our children.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's great to be here because every single day in America, our children are under attack by the far left agenda. They want to sexualize our kids and confuse them about their identity and tear down childhood innocence. And that's what I seek to expose for the past 2 years of my life. I've dedicated to exposing that agenda, and for my efforts, I've been rewarded with being doxxed and harassed, people showing up to my home. I get called every kind of insult and slur in the book. And I think it just really shows that the media, they're not really journalists. They are Democrat activists.
Yeah.
They pretend to be journalists and reporters, but really they're just there to cover for the liberal agenda.
And everything you said about what the left is attempting to do with our children, you saw it. They're saying it with their own words. These are teachers who were talking about basically sexualizing children, having secrets with children, talking to them about things that their parents don't know about sex and gender. All you did was take their video and show the world what they were saying on the Twitter platform.
They're not just like saying it, they're so proud of it. This is what they stand for. They really, really want to, these teachers really want to talk to little kids about sex. I mean, that's just what the reality.
And
it's so perverted.
I'm just curious, because I'm fascinated by somebody who starts with nothing and creates this incredible force of nature that Libs of TikTok is. When was it when you decided I'm going to do this?
So it started a little bit less than 2 years ago. So it was really during COVID. My office was shut down. I couldn't work. So I was sitting at home and I stumbled across TikTok. And then with all of those COVID videos, that's really how it started. The dancing nurses, the vaccine songs, the Fauci stuff.
The innocent, halcyon days of Libs of TikTok, just showing the dancing nurses.
Exactly. People bowing down to Fauci statues, it was all the COVID stuff. And then I stumbled across the other side of TikTok, which was the activist teachers, the groomers, the activists within the medical industry and any other industry who really just target children to confuse them and inject gender ideology.
And so I got to think, at this point, they have three choices. They can either deny that it's actually happening and say, no, this is a fake, you're just making it up. Can't do that.
Well, they did do that in the beginning.
They?
Yeah, of course. So the left plays this game with everything in that first they say it's not happening, right? It's a right-wing conspiracy theory.
Right.
There's no gender ideology in school in K-12. There's no CRT in K-12. It's just not happening. It's a conspiracy theory. So they always start with that, but then they're always wrong.
Right. And so then they have to say, well, you're damn right there is a gender ideology, but it's good.
It's good.
It's
a good
virtuous,
thing.
And here's why.
Exactly.
That didn't work. So then what's the only thing they can do? Go after you personally. Attack that you're the problem, that you're evil, and you must be destroyed. So talk about how that happened. First it started with Twitter censoring you and suspending you from the platform.
Well, exactly, and that's the weapon that the left has, is that they could work with big tech, they could work with our government institutions, and with the media, and they all work together to censor anyone who disagrees with them.
When we saw the Twitter files and you were named in those emails, what went through your mind? I mean, obviously validation. It's of course this is what they were doing. But that's also really scary.
Well, it was a very emotional night, I'll just say that, because I'll be honest, it was really frustrating because there was a period of time where I was getting suspended every other week. And I'm like, can I please just have my Twitter account for 2 weeks straight? I couldn't because they were so scared of it.
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't violating the rules. I never misgendered or done names or.
And by the way, was it all internal? Was it just Twitter employees who said, hey, we should delete her? Was there outside forces telling them this Libs of TikTok thing was a problem?
Well, it's possible. I don't have any evidence of that, but I would not be surprised if that comes out soon.
Activist groups, government agencies.
But I will say that there were 3 medical institutions, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Medical Association, I believe there was a third, who signed a letter to Biden's DOJ asking them to investigate people who are speaking out against, quote, gender affirming care which we know means mutilation surgeries, puberty blockers.
It doesn't
hormones.
actually affirm a gender.
No.
It actually reverses a natural gender.
It's harmful and dangerous. And they asked Biden's DOJ to investigate us for reporting on it. So
then it went beyond that. Then the Washington Post, funded by one of the richest men in the world, Jeff Bezos, they throw their investigative forces into finding out who you are. Because this whole time you're anonymous. No, you could be an 80-year-old woman, you could be a 20-year-old dude. They decide we got to find out who this person is.
It was more important to them to find out who I was than to talk about, Hunter Biden's laptop,
right?
Or
the pullout of Afghanistan,
exactly.
or the Ukraine war, or for that matter, what's actually going on in our schools with these teachers. I mean, they see this story and they see teachers talking about sexualizing young children, and they think the story is who's this anonymous Twitter account and not what the hell is going on in our schools.
It's more important to them to find out who's posting the video than the fact that our kids are being given porn in schools, or that young girls are having their breasts chopped off. I mean, they don't care about that. That doesn't bother them at all.
Wow.
It just bothers them who's the one that's informing you.
The courage that it has taken not just to do what you did and grow it, from 0 to almost 2 million Twitter followers at this point. You've made such an impact, and you don't make money off of this, right? It's not, there's no monetization of what you're doing.
So we started a Substack, which you can follow at libsoftiktok.com. So
I follow that. Great updates on what you're up to, by the way, and I love all the.
So we do like longer form stories there, articles. That helps a bit. And I just wrote a children's book. And it's called No More Secrets. And the goal of it is to give parents and children a tool that they can use to spot the predatory behavior that we're seeing in our society.
Oh, that's great.
So what happens is...
What age is this meant for?
Like 4 to 8.
4 to 8 years old. Yeah. It's called No More Secrets. And where can people buy this book?
LOTTbook.com.
Okay.
Or on Amazon. It's called No More Secrets, The Candy Cavern. And basically... the first step of grooming really is to sever the parent-child relationship and to cut out the parent. And that's what trusted adults are doing with young children. So my books basically will help children to be able to spot that predatory behavior. If a trusted adult tells you, oh, don't worry about your parents, we don't have to tell them, we can keep this a secret from them, then the child should know that's a huge red flag and they should right away go to their parents. So hopefully we'll be able to save a lot of children.
It's funny, I used to say all the time that if the teachers that you highlighted on your Libs of TikTok account, if they weren't in the classroom and they weren't teachers, if they pulled up in a white van at a playground and approached a child and said some of the things that they were saying in the classroom, they'd be arrested as the predators that they are.
So exactly, and that is something that kids are warned about like stranger danger, right? Don't take candy from someone in the park. But what kids are not being warned about is actually not the strangers, the trusted adults who are supposed to look after them, and they're authority figures, and that's really what my book seeks to help with.
Fantastic. I'm so glad you wrote the book, and that's a great way for people to support what you do so you can keep doing it.
Yes.
And you're so courageous, honestly, because
a
lot of people, especially young women your age and worried about, being called the most horrific things that they've called you, they would back down. They would have been intimidated the way they tried to intimidate you.
That's exactly why they came to dox me and they came to my home, because they were hoping to silence me.
Yeah.
But, the mission is too important. We got to protect the children. We have to take back our country, and I'm never going to stop.
Thank God. And we need more of you.
Oh, thank you.
We need more people who are doing what you're doing. You're very inspiring, and I think that you've inspired a lot of people. It was great being we were on stage together today at CPAC, and we had a great panel. Chaya Raichik, thank you. You are in demand, so you're going to have a very busy day here.
Okay, I have a flight soon. So.
All right, we'll wrap it up. There's more to come on O'Connor Tonight. You're watching Salem News Channel.